Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm LaShawn Robinson with Huddle Music. Today, we're going to sit down with A Natural, an artist from New Jersey that has just released a fire album, KWAMÉ. How's it going, A Natural?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good. Thanks for joining us today, and all of the listeners out there at Huddle Nation. We want to get to know more about A Nat, and today we're going to talk about the KWAMÉ album, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into his journey in music. A Natural, 2020 has been quite a year of emotions. The music industry for independent artists has landed in an unfamiliar place. How has 2020 affected you and your ability to push forward with your music?
2020 for me started off with, a drive to push an album that I just put out, and just do what I normally do as far as promotions and singing and shows, and then COVID came and shut everything down. And I feel like, in a way, even though it was a bad thing that happened, it was a good thing for me personally because it made me be still. I had a moment to really just kind of sit and think about everything that I had worked on, what I was going to do in this time of stillness, and then really hear from some real inspiration to kind of know how I should move forward as an artist. And honestly, for me, it's been cool because I'm already a homebody, so I'm home working on music, creating. It was normal for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So this has been pretty much a benefit for you, so everything is slowed down, and so you can actually get ahead of the storm, right?
Yeah. I think specifically about KWAMÉ, this has been the best rollout that I've ever had as far as putting out music, because I think because everyone is so still and stationary, they needed something to listen to, and they had the time to pay attention to it. So I think it was beneficial for me in that way.
Gotcha. So I'm excited to talk to you about your new KWAMÉ album. One of my favorite albums of 2020, and I've talked to a lot of people and said, this is my favorite album of 2020 thus far. This album seemed personal. Can you talk about the mindset that you had in creating this album, and what songs that you felt needed to be heard?
Starting this album, I started it not knowing that I was doing an album. I had just released an album in January, and again, because of COVID, I wasn't able to really push it the way that I wanted to. And a lot of stuff happened during this time of being at home. There was a relationship that I was in that ended, and that sparked one of the first songs that I wrote for the album, which is called Underwater. And it was kind of like me just talking about how this person broke my heart and all that kind of stuff. But as I went on and tried to understand why they did what they did to me, it shifted my direction as far as writing. And so I wanted to kind of get into the mindset of not just me and my heartbreak, but why people do the things that they do. And then specifically black men. Why do black men do the things that they do? Why do we treat each other certain ways? Why do we hurt each other? Why don't we protect each other? Why are we afraid to be who we are and live in that truth? And I decided to explore those different topics.
Definitely, Underwater is a freaking song that's on fire. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Last year, you were nominated for Independent Album of the Year. So for independent artists out there, what can you share about the commitment that it took to get your music recognized on that level?
What I learned from that is that you never know who's listening. And because of that, you never want to stop. It's very easy for an independent artist to feel like they're not being heard, because you might have your friends and family who listen to your music, but you're really trying to get to the masses. And, being nominated for that award, it showed that people are actually listening, that, you can't just rely on who you think is listening. You got to know that people will always be finding out about you for the first time. So that kind of keeps me going to keep creating, to keep, reaching out to people, and to take my time. There's no rush, there's no time limit. I'm not fighting anybody else's time. I'm just doing what I do. And, as an independent artist, we have that luxury.
Right, and I think most people don't even realize that when we talk about Independent Music Awards, we're not talking about just New Jersey.
No.
We're talking about everywhere,
This is worldwide.
worldwide. And so that what a great recognition to be on and be able to share that insight with independent artists out there, because they probably didn't even know that there are independent awards out there, or nominations. So it's good. So on your song, I was listening to all of the songs, but definitely the song Word Vomit, right? Where did that come from?
So, like I just said, we never know who's listening, and we think that nobody is, especially as independent artists. And what I found in my situation was I do a lot. Like, I'm a producer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a vocal arranger, engineer, and I've done a lot of work with a lot of different artists. And it's always a tough line to walk between being cool with just doing that and then also wanting the same kind of love and attention for your own music. And with Word Vomit, I just needed to get it out of my head that I felt like I wasn't being respected as an artist. And what's interesting is, I don't know if you've watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, but it kind of spoke to me. And actually, I wasn't even going to keep that song on the album, because after watching that movie, I was like, oh, maybe I got this wrong. Because we're based on algorithms right now with social media. And based on what the algorithm wants, some people who do like you and love you may never see your stuff. And so with that, you then develop this mindset of, oh, nobody's fucking with my music. But they really are. You just don't know because they can't see it. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't keep this on there. And then my brother was like, no, keep it on there. People need to hear this. So, it's kind of me complaining a little bit, but I still wanted to make sure that, it gets to a better part, like toward the end. So.
But no, it's a good song. And speaking of Word Vomit, that song, you got some great ad-libs on there. Right? And so if people have not heard A Natural, he has some of the greatest ad-libs that you're going to have. For example, Overlooked.
Yes. I've been overlooked.
Overbooked.
Overbooked.
Mistook.
Mistook.
Misused.
Misused.
On the street.
I've been on the street, on delete, on repeat. I've been blue, said I've been high, I've been low, been blessed, I've been broke. One thing remains the same, God never forgets my name.
My man. Those are some ads. So, I truly believe that this is one of the best albums of 2020, as I said earlier. We will continue to support you here at Huddle Music. What would you want your fans to know?
I would want my fans to know that this album for me was not about just making a dope sounding album. It wasn't about just writing cool songs that you could bop to or whatever. This album was about the message. It's about saving lives, because I know too many people who have left this earth because they couldn't be who they wanted to be. And I know too many people who are walking around in fear of being who they are. And I felt like if I'm free, then my responsibility is to set others free as well. So that's what this album is about. That's what A Natural is all about. Just be who you are and embrace that, and everything else really doesn't matter.
Buy the album. Support A Natural. Support A Natural. A Natural, we're at the part of the interview where we always give the artists a time to showcase their gifts.
Okay.
We're going to give you 30 seconds to showcase yours.
All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of my favorite song from the album called A Story of Freedom. 15, he was in a weird place, caught between the truth and trying to save face, doing right by his family, practicing his faith, never knew why this thing would always elevate, girlfriend on his arm, a good plan, couldn't tell nobody except his best friend, the truth about each other would stop the whole world, but for now couldn't risk letting go of his girl. One night the secret came out, it didn't matter who, it only mattered how would everybody react to seeing the truth now. Daddy broke the door down to snatch the knife out.
Do you know the way to get to freedom? Freedom. Do you know the way to get there? Know the way to get there.
My man. Good stuff, A Natural.
Thank
Good
you very
stuff.
much.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It was a pleasure interviewing A Natural. Be sure to check us out at www.huddlemusic.com and on the App Store. Download Huddle Music. See you next time.
Truth is, they sympathize with the pain. They wanted to live free, but still rocking on chains. So what a real man is supposed to be. Never knowing true love can't begin till you're free. One day I pray they finally see the light. Open their eyes wide enough to finally find that it ain't about the